That is excellent. Hi, guys.
Hey, Bonus.
Hi, Bonus. Excellent. So we are here today on the second half of Are You a Psychic series, or the second episode. This is on working on the development part of clairvoyance. Hi, Maria. So, sorry, I just got done putting lotion on my hands. So, obviously there's some things that I already knew just from my own practices and stuff like that. But I did do a bunch of other research as well. So we'll just get started if you're ready.
Okay.
Hi, Amber. All right. So first things first, clairvoyance, just to go over it briefly if you were not here last week. Some of the symptoms or signs that you have clairvoyance are you see spirits, entities, maybe energy, auras, shadows, orbs, stuff like that. But there was other things also that we had talked about on the list that could also be like indicators that you are clairvoyant, and maybe they're starting to develop, and now is the time to start working towards how to develop them. So, why don't you get us started with some of the things that you came across as far as developing the skills?
Okay. So I'll start with some that I kind of personally took from my own practice with it, and then a couple I came across online. So one of the first things I identified was scrying or different forms of divination.
I love it.
Yeah, I think I feel it. So, scrying, divination practices, or even energetic practices, like if you're trying to see auras. A lot of us know this exercise you do here, and you create the energy. You can do it with your fingers or your palms. And as you're kind of manipulating, feeling that energy, you can also peer in between your palms or fingers, whichever way you decide to do it, and kind of see in your mind's eye what colors are in that energy. There's no cure.
Yeah. That's excellent.
Also, I have on here, you can use friends, kind of test each other. Think of like an image in your head, a number, a color, and you and your friends can practice, or you and your partner, using crystals, oils, and herbs. Visualization skills, like imagining.
Why don't we stop right there just for a minute? Now that we're talking about the crystals and the herbs, let's tell them some of them.
Okay.
So the stones that I have that are good for this are amethyst, which pretty much everybody here, I'm sure, knows what amethyst looks like, which is really good for psychic development. Labradorite, which...
Oh, that's beautiful.
You'll see the matrix running through it, or the sheen. Beautiful. That is said to hold it up to the third eye, and it will unlock like psychic visions and stuff like that. Another one is aquamarine, which I don't have any.
I do.
Opal. You got some aquamarine?
I do. Not right here, though.
Fluorite.
Oh, beautiful.
Tektite, which I don't have any. Celestite, I don't have any. Celestite is said to help you connect with like angels and stuff like that. Moonstone, which I do have some, but I don't have any here with me. Tiger's eye, which I don't think I have any of that right here with me either. Moldavite. I'm sure you guys have seen the moldavite. It's the green, like meteorite. And yeah, there's other ones too. Another one that I came across, this one is actually called Dadolite or Dadolite. This is one that is said to, and I actually just found this one at Home Goods. This one is supposed to help aid you with like meditation and help you with your what is it called? The soul star chakra. Yeah, exactly. So what other crystals do you know of that help with the psychic? Was there any more that you could add to that?
I did have down clear quartz, psychic oils. I had amethyst, and I had lapis lazuli
or lazuli or
Thank you.
Yeah.
I get so tongue twisted.
It happens to the best of us. What did she say? I mean, sleeping bag and put a few amethyst in there. Almost a few months since I've made it. Yep, exactly. Awesome. It's said to unlock like psychic dreams and stuff like that as well. Yes, so that's perfect. Might be easier to read it up here. I did that back in middle school with my BF. He had a bunch of pictures of NSYNC, and one of us would focus on a pic. The other had to say which one it was. We did do pretty well.
That is awesome. Awesome, but a great example.
BFF, not boyfriend. Just to clarify, right? Too cute. What else did you have, sweetie?
Visualization skills. This you can do in many ways, kind of like that last comment that Maria had said, or visualizing these exercises where you are imagining your third eye opening or your crown chakra opening, or just visualization anyway, I think can help improve. When you're a kid and you're kind of sitting inside of a box, but you, in your mind's eye, turn that into a spaceship. Just simple things like that could help us see more. To exercise the clairvoyance. Also, minimizing distraction. Now, this is a very kind of a personal practice I'll do, but I think it can help a lot of people. I'll go into like this timeless type of mentality or trance, if you will, like a miniature meditation type of state. Before I step in like someone's house to do a reading, I just kind of clear everything away, so I can be more open and receptive to what is around me. And it also opens up, my perspective. And it is a form of meditation in a way, but in my experience, it can help a lot if we just kind of clear everything out of our minds, everything that's distracting us or thoughts, and you just put yourself at ease, then you'll be really surprised at what you can pick up or feel around you. Also, paying attention to feelings and sensations. If you feel it, you're less likely to doubt yourself. So if you have thoughts, that's one thing. But when you add emotion in with those thoughts, or you get sensations, tingling, pressure, or just an inner knowing, or a gut feeling, or pressure in the head, it can come in many different forms. But that is another thing, kind of pay attention to those sensations, and it'll help you to not second guess yourself.
Yes. I did want to go back really quick. Some of the herbs that you can use, and I was showing Cortney this earlier. I made these quite a while ago, and they've done charged on my
beautiful
right over here where you can see it a little bit better, maybe on my altar for a long time. I'm just lazy. I haven't put them on in my Etsy shop, but this is incense. So I used a bunch of different items that they say are good for psychic development or the vision. That's why it's called the vision. But some of those herbs that you can use too for any witches or practitioners that are in here is star anise, mugwort, thyme, wormwood, oranges. And what I mean by that is I told Summer I was going to do like the not so pretty side of witchcraft, because some of the things that I do after I'm done eating my oranges, I will cut them up really, really little, just like you see here, and then put them on my altar to dry. And I use that in my craft as well. And when you are putting them into the mortar and pestle and you start crunching them and stuff, it releases all the oils and you can smell it, the orange. So I put that also in some of my incense. So that's another one of them. Nutmeg, rose, marigold, lavender, jasmine, hibiscus, ash, like ash wood, cherry wood or cherry shavings, cherry bark, bay, Arabic gum resin. These are all just a few of them that you can use for psychic development, you know. But I will say, be careful, because, and do your research on whatever herb that you're going to use, because some of them you might want to do just like a sachet, you know, for under your pillow at night to help unlock like a psychic dream or something like that, psychic vision, what have you. But other ones you want to be careful not necessarily to burn it, because if you burn it, it can be toxic. So I just say do your research with any herb that you're working with and know how you can properly work with it. So and then essential oils, some of them that are great for psychic ability, enhancing that kind of stuff, whether you put it on your skin. And I say the same, do your research on what is okay for the skin. If you're not sure, if you have sensitive skin, try it in a, like on your inside elbow or something, a sensitive spot, to see whether or not it'll work okay with you. But there's cinnamon, lavender, patchouli, peppermint, rosemary, jasmine, sandalwood, frankincense, all for different things. So do your research, because all these things you can put together when making maybe your own candle for it. If you're going to be doing candle scrying or something like that, make a special candle to unlock it, you know, the scents while you're doing it. So stuff like that. So I'm sorry to take you off of that, but I wanted to get those in there really quick.
That's great. Yeah. Did we say myrrh in that too? Just in my experience, like the bay leaf, myrrh, and frankincense. Oh, yeah. I've always had good results with that.
In many of the temples, that was the combination that they used, was frankincense and myrrh. And it's supposed to lift up your prayers or what have you up to the you know, to the heavens. It's also supposed to amplify whatever you're working on. So yeah, definitely.
Wonderful.
Creating a sacred space with it, as well as for psychic. Yes.
So the next thing is become aware of sounds. Of course, we need our senses. We were just talking about this earlier. We have to have our senses to experience things and to be receptive and feel, right? Mm-hmm. So a lot of the time, because the world is so noisy, there are multiple noises that we're trying to drown out, and we do it unconsciously. So taking a step back and kind of bringing yourself in the now and observing, you know, the sounds around you. I found that if you take a moment to do that for like 10, 15 minutes out of the day, that too can help open you up to being more receptive. And of course, chakra work and journaling, using cards, which I've seen you do before on your channel, which excellent. Reading psychic development books. Try like automatic writing. You can practice trying to read your pets, and you can practice reading photos.
Yeah.
And that was the majority of what I came up with for today.
Pretty much everything that you said, I absolutely agree with, and was like the main things I would say that I found as well. But don't forget, to ask your angels, ask your guides, ask your demons, gods, whatever source, whatever you work with or whoever you work with. Ask them, even if you have not felt it yet. It doesn't matter, because one of the things that I did read in the angel book that I'm currently reading, and I have another one coming today, but is that, you know what, your angels are always there. And maybe this is the same with demons, probably, because as you and I were talking, I think that they're all the same thing, right? But I think they're always there ready to help you, but you have to ask. So until you ask, they're not going to help you. They can't like interfere, right?
Right.
But once you do.
That's just like when people ask me when I summon a spirit or I'm trying to speak to spirits, why aren't they talking? And I'm like, did you ask them anything? Did you ask questions? You know?
Exactly. Yes. And I just want to also, I'm sure everybody knows this, but you know, the third eye or the pituitary gland or that psychic ability is a muscle just like anything else. So, you know, if you are bedridden for a while and you're not up walking around with your legs are going to get weak, right? Oh, so unless you are doing exercises like every day, just like we do for other things in our body, you're not going to keep on working it.
Absolutely.
So, another thing, become a tarot reader or any kind of divinatory stuff like reading clouds or reading the bathroom tiles when you're going to the bathroom, whatever it is, it doesn't really matter. Like what you had said, the scrying. I've got a video on my channel. I made this. This was like $5 frame from Walmart. It was all black. I took the glass out on the other side, painted it black, waited for it to dry, put it back in, and then just took dollar paint and painted around the edge. Now you have a black scrying mirror. If you just sit this down, because it's got sit it down, maybe with a candle in front of it, and look how it plays off of the light. See what kind of images you come up with. And I do not say enough to write things down. Write it down. Put a date on it, whatever, because that is definitely how we start to trust ourselves. Meditation, like what you had said, meditation, absolutely. Clearing your mind of anything, all stresses, blockages, what have you. Try to make a daily practice of it if you can, just like going out and walking around. You're using that muscle, right? But then I also suggest actually doing meditation that's for psychic development. And I highly recommend this book here, Psychic Witch. I'm about halfway through it and I stopped reading it because I wanted to start recording all of these. So on my phone, on the recorder, I have about 14 recordings so far of some of the exercises that are in this book. And they are phenomenal. I mean, absolutely phenomenal. For me, I'm personally, you might be good at guided meditations. I'm not. But for me, I hear my own voice in my head all the time. So when I guide myself with my own voice at my own speed, and that's another thing, sometimes I find that guided meditations are just like so quick. You know what I mean? They'll say, take a breath in, and then they go on to the next thing. It's like, I don't breathe that fast. I like to go, take my time, right? So know your own speed, record it, and then listen back to it. And the more you listen to it, you're opening up. And I actually even told you one of the exercises in here. If you're getting like so much information that's coming in, like what you have, there's an exercise in here that even shows you how to actually turn it down or turn it up if you're not getting that much. Right. And so I highly recommend this book. It's by Matt Oren. So that's another one. Something else that I had also was really getting to know yourself. So doing like shadow work, doing past life work, doing astrology, your own astrology, and palmistry. And you just showed me earlier today, which is, I'm like, great, another area that I need to go look into, right? which is about the feet, knowing like your ancestry, like your ancient ancestry by the shape of your feet of all things, right? I'm like, well, of course, if you can do palmistry and stuff like that, why not the feet too, right?
Right.
But I think all that stuff is important because the more you know yourself, it might unlock certain things and memories and stuff like that from past lives, or researching like your astrology and seeing different points in your astrological chart. These are all things that can help us know ourselves better and unlock certain things in ourselves. Activate certain things. So definitely, that's what I had. I also had another thing here for watching movies. So if you guys are avid movie watchers, I'm definitely an avid movie watcher.
Oh, yeah.
Gematria, numerology.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool. So as you watch them, actually start doing exercises where you have a little notebook next to you, if you want, and write down what you think is going to happen. Or then pause it if you're watching something on your computer or a TV show, or it doesn't really matter, whatever you're watching, and start marking it down and seeing if you can figure out what's going to happen next. So that's one exercise you can do with yourself. Zener cards. If you don't have Zener cards, you can get free apps on your phone. They're called Zener. But something else I want to tell people, and this is something that I was telling you, Cortney. I had been doing the Zener cards, the electronic Zener cards, through that, and I was like getting frustrated with myself because I wasn't getting any of them. So once I started marking down in order as what I was guessing, I realized that I was actually guessing like 2 ahead, 2 or 3 ahead, almost like playing a game of chess. When you're playing chess, you're not thinking about your current move. You're thinking usually 2 or 3, sometimes even more ahead. I know I do when I play chess.
Yeah.
And I found that I was actually guessing like 2 ahead, but they were in order, but like 2 ahead. So don't get frustrated with yourself. Start paying attention to your patterns, right? Don't automatically think that you're not getting it when you're just getting it even earlier than what you thought. Also, dreams. Have a dream journal. Write down your dreams when you get them. If you don't have a dream journal or you forget, record them. As soon as you get up in the morning, record it right away so that you don't forget, because you would be surprised. I was actually surprised that when I went back and started reading some of my dreams, how much I had actually forgot. And then I start reading it, go, oh my God, I forgot about that. But date it, because you're going to find out how psychic you really are when these things start happening. And then you'll also see like how far in advance these things are actually happening. Because some of my stuff, it's like a year before it actually happens. And then bam, then you get the realization. It's like hindsight, right?
Yeah, I saw myself back in New York. I remember dreaming about living in Belfast. And I could see it so vividly in my dream. I could smell the food as I walked on the streets. And then I had another one where I seen myself in the airport. I was looking up at the screens in the airport, and it ended up coming true a year later. So
exactly. That is, and that's about, for me, how it works. Sorry, I'm just putting this in the chat for her.
I've got
Psychic Witch. It's by Matt Oren. I highly recommend it. It is so good.
I'm going to read
another thing. I think the biggest thing, honestly, for developing it, you're welcome, honey. The biggest thing I think, honestly, is trusting yourself. If you get images in your head and you don't understand why you're getting them, it doesn't matter. It might not even be information for you. Write it down and date it. Write it down. So journaling.
Yes.
Oh, it's not available.
I feel like quite a few people get frustrated, you know, with themselves, or they're in fear that they're going to get it wrong, and it's like, you know, just ease yourself. You got this. Like, trust in yourself, because you know how many times I received a message from a spirit and embarrassed myself thinking it was for someone in the room, and I'd walk out, oh no, not you. Oh, okay, awkward, you know. But then I'd find out later what it was all about and who it was for. So you never know. And like she said, it's a muscle, so it's something
Exactly.
you've got to work on and exercise. Nobody is going to be 100, % spot on.
Exactly. You and I were talking about this earlier. Actually, you said you planted it, you were thinking it and planning it in my mind to see whether or not we were connected, and I said it. But one of the reasons that I brought up like spatial stuff in the last episode, like moving furniture around, the visualization part of it is you step back, and those that love to decorate, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can step back and say, in my mind's eye, I think the couch is going to look great there. That's going to look good there. This is going to look kitty corner, just like that. And can you see the whole layout in your mind's eye before you do it? And then when you do it, it looks just like what it did in your mind, right?
Right.
Yes.
That's an excellent way.
The ability to visualize and see it. And I think that that's probably really strong with like astral projection, or what is the other one that's really close to that?
Dreamwalking.
Lucid
dreaming.
And what is, remote viewing. Remote viewing. So do you ever, no, let me ask you guys if you do this. When you're talking to like your friend who's in Ireland, you can see her backdrop right there, which is really cool. Okay. Do you ever visualize or try to go over to where she's at and look at what's in front of her that you can't see, or that's beside her? Like, what has she got on her tables and stuff like that? Do you ever think about those things? Do you actually like go and like visit? I know you have, because some of the dreams that you've told me about, we went back through with my phone showing my house. You go, oh my God. I mean, you explained it to me that that's what it was. So you were remote viewing, or you were coming to my place.
Yeah, it just started for me this year, that particular ability. And I've been actually looking in on my son in New York and stuff and practicing with that. And when I talked to him and my grandmother, we were just talking about it yesterday. And I was telling her how much I did see and stuff. And she's like, oh, yeah, you're right. That did happen, you know?
Exactly. That is a form of clairvoyance. Yes. One prayer. Let me see. It's easier for me to see it because I got it clear over here. I should probably minus this down a little bit. That way it's easier to see. There we go. I'm from America, so it's all good over here. Thank you very much. Oh, okay.
That's good.
Try reaching out to see what's up. Oh, yeah. Yeah. She's talking about, I think, the book. She can't get it over there. Maria can't find it in Germany. Yeah, we walk around the areas. Visualization skills are amazing. My practicing every day. Exactly.
Yeah, I was just telling Rachele earlier too how I practice like a visualization, because it's so important for almost all the work we do in our paths, you know, not just our psychic abilities, but spells, rituals, manifesting, you know. I'll sit in my room sometimes and go into a complete fantasy world in my head. I'll see my room for what it is. And then I'll look over in the corner and just visualize and see in my mind's eye vines and roses trickling up the walls. And then they're fading and turning gold and swirling. And I'll just play with it in my head and see what I come up with, you know?
Exactly. I love that. You talked about chakras. So, hi, Brooke. So the chakras, the ones that really, I mean, obviously you want to align all your chakras if you can. But the ones that are more going to be attached to like your psychic development is going to be like your third eye, your crown. There's another one, your soul star chakra, but between your crown and your soul soul star chakra, if I can get that out. It's called a stellar gateway, which also happens to be where you're getting like downloads and stuff like that, and you're getting like pure light that goes through here. But these areas, once you get these areas all aligned, that also helps you like line up with like the Akashic records. A famous psychic, Edgar Casey, that's what he did, is he accessed Akashic records. So working on these upper chakras. And these are your higher vibrational chakras. So another way of getting in touch with your psychic abilities is raising your chakras, or raising your vibration. And some of the ways that you can raise your vibration, and I did do a video on this as well, but is like gratitude, putting gratitude in your daily practice, love, generosity, definitely meditation, breath work, breathing exercises, working with forgiveness, eating high vibe foods, not like things that are already dead, like meat and stuff like that, but more high vibe foods like fresh, like fruits and vegetables. The sooner more like local, because the sooner that they get to you, or if you actually even grow your own stuff. So if you're picking your own stuff, and like, let's say you have a tomato plant and you go out and just eat a tomato. Oh, that's really high vibe. Drinking a lot of water, not taking as much like, alcohol. And, this is not like advice, life advice, nothing like that. I'm just saying these are ways that we can raise our vibration. So you do what you want to do. There's no judgment for me. And that's another thing, not judging other people. Remember that our thoughts and our emotions also dictate, our vibration, right? So and being around other people that are positive and uplifting, they will also raise your vibration, and vice versa. You can raise other people's vibration, or your personal relationships, people that you're around, do they lift you up? Because if you're in relationships that are toxic, that can also bring you down. So setting up good boundaries with other people, having a good exchange of conversation, stuff like that. All these are things that we can do to raise our vibration. And by raising our vibration, it's easier for us to tap into the higher vibrational beings. Group hug. Exactly. My uncle was not allowed to pick the strawberries as a kid in the garden. So he laid in the strawberries and bit them off the plant to get around his mom's rules. I love it. Doesn't get fresher than that. Exactly. So if you can grow your own stuff, and that is like ideal, seriously ideal. Hi, April. So yes, growing your own stuff is definitely powerful. Now, going back to what you had said earlier about the different senses, using the other senses. So some of the other things that we can do by using our other senses, like vision, doing puzzles, you can do crossword puzzles if you want, but more like word searches, mazes, labyrinths, those kind of things can unlock other things in us. Even like learning different languages and stuff like that, they open up your mind to other things. Sound, listen to high vibrational music, or pay attention when you are listening to music. Does it bring on certain memories? Does it bring on certain thoughts? And pay attention to those things and write them down. Touch. Can you touch an object? Let's say from, a crystal, okay? But let's say if you grabbed an item, if you went into like a antique store or a secondhand shop and you bought something, like I just bought this from a secondhand store.
Oh, I love
Isn't that cool? But when you pick it up, do you get any images? You might be getting some of the energy, picking up some of the thoughts or energy that was in the other person's home or their life that got attached to it. If you get any kind of visions or anything like that, write them down. Put a date on it. And then see if you can check out any of it. Sometimes you can't. Sometimes you can. If it's like an estate sale and you know the people or you got it from somebody else and you pick something up, do a little bit of research. Smell. Can you smell certain things that will unlock? Like we were talking about the essential oils, right? Having essential oils or your incense burning that can actually open up your, because I think that there's different stages like alpha, delta,
beta, theta, gamma.
Yes, exactly. So, and also taste. Can you taste something? And all of a sudden you get memories of like how your grandma made it, and then does something else come in? Write all these things down. These are all important. You might not know it at the moment, but they're probably, did I freeze?
Yeah, I can hear you, but you froze.
What a beautiful picture too, by the way.
She's oming.
Yeah, I'm oming. Wow, that's terrible. You know, let me take my picture off and see if.
Hello, everyone. I'm sorry. Did I put my picture in the wrong spot?
I don't think so. I think that's just showing because I don't think I have it on mine.
Oh. Hello, Angel and Marg. In which moon? Lady Bloom.
There we go. I think it's better now.
Oh, yes. You're that powerful.
Hi, Leanne. Yeah, what does I sing all the time? I got the power, right? I'm freezing stuff. So I think I pretty much hit on everything. Definitely the dream journals. For me, dreaming is like my major thing that I've always practiced. So writing things down, putting dates on it, I think that that's really, really important because later on stuff will come to fruition and then you'll all see, but it's about trusting yourself. That's why I say do all these things, because the more you do them and you get confirmation of that it builds your confidence, it builds your trust in yourself and your belief. But I also want to show you guys this. This is my junk journal.
That's lovely.
This is called the Hawkins scale. I'm trying to get closer, but this shows you what emotions, how it changes like your vibration. So like real low vibrational stuff is like shame, guilt, apathy, grief, fear, anger, pride. And when you start getting up into the higher stuff, it's more like what I said, like being grateful, gratitude, giving, that prosperity, you're putting that out there. But peace and joy and love, those are the things that boost us up. So, and it shows the chart, like what it does to us. So I thought that was pretty cool. And the other thing that I wanted to show you is another way. I really enjoyed the picture exercise you did on Facebook. You did really good, really good. That's something that we were going to actually talk about. I noticed that people get down on themselves. Well, this is my perception. They get down on themselves and then they don't do it again if they get it wrong. And, you cannot expect if you don't do regular exercises every day in this way. That doesn't mean if you're not getting it correct, it doesn't mean that you're any less psychic than the next person. It just means that you haven't done that kind of exercise. You haven't really stretched that muscle too much, right? Because just because you might, get a card for tarot readers, see a card, and then you get this picture in your head. One does not eliminate the other experience. They're different.
Right.
They're different things. Just like walking and running, right? They're different things. You're using your muscles differently. Right. So I think the more that we do it, even if we get it wrong, the more we realize why we went the other way instead of listening to our intuition or listening to the first thing that popped up. Because once your analytical mind gets involved, you think, well, no, I think that it's this one because this one's prettier, or this is green. Maybe she's thinking green or whatever. And it throws you off. It took a long time to decide, never decided right then and there. And that's good. That's good. Sometimes I think it is good, though, to take the very first thing that pops in your head, the very first thing.
And analyze how your body's feeling. I did one of them, but I wasn't on Facebook for a while. I don't always get them right either, but I do notice the ones that I do tend to be more accurate on, I'll feel it. Some sort of sensation, I'll feel it along with thinking it.
Shadow Sun says, not sure if this helps, but I find being as calm, centered, and relaxed as possible when doing exercises really helps. Just takes the pressure off, I think. Absolutely. That's why I think the meditation, like if you're doing like a simple, calm meditation where you're just trying to erase everything, just be in a clear space, and then doing some sort of exercise after that is ideal. I think that's perfect.
Right. I mean, and to be serious, we wouldn't take a new witch and throw her right in the middle of a ritual, not knowing how to do that, and expect her to get it all right, or him.
Yeah.
And kind of the same thing. It's another practice.
And I think it's a daily practice. If you do it yourself, that's what I'm saying. If, because I'm not going to keep on doing the crystals every day. If somebody else wants to pick it up, by all means, put it in the group and we'll do it. But it's not something I want to do every single day. But I think it's more a personal thing anyways. You don't have to do it with anybody. You can just do it with yourself, ways that you can do it with yourself, like I said, is like Zener cards. You can get like playing cards, and you can take like ace to 10 out of it, right? And of one particular suit, let's say diamonds, and you shuffle it every day, and you pick one out of it, and you leave it down, and then you guess what it is out of the 1 to 10. You can do that, or have just a friend do it with you and do it with each other. It doesn't have to be a public show of it.
Right.
Let me catch up here. We have to doodle, get out of spirit's way. Ego is loud, but not always wrong. Yeah. I have been watching lots of pick a card readings lately, and when they show the pile or a stone charm in the beginning, I look for the one that makes me feel something. Yes. So for me, sometimes I also have done stuff like if there's like, let's say 5, I will go like this. Like you said, the body will tell you, right?
Right.
And I go like this slowly and scan my hand. And the one, sometimes it'll scan a couple of them. I mean, it'll vibrate. But the one that is the strongest vibration, I pick that one. Because even if my mind isn't going to tell me, or I'm not going to see it in my mind, I might feel it. But the more I associate those things together, it might overdevelop another, or it might help develop another. So use all your senses to help you. I completely agree. Let's see. Spirit and I brainstorm, start doodling and writing until messages shows itself. I absolutely agree. Journal everything. I see that as practice as well, if the pile resonates with me. Absolutely. There's something that Amber over at Lavender Moon had talked about doing when she's watching something. She will actually do, because she's a tarot reader. If you're a tarot reader, she would actually shuffle them and deal the cards and let the cards tell her what's going on. That's another way of you trusting like the messages that you're getting after you're done watching it, and it unveils itself, or, you know, shows itself in the way that you read it in the cards. That's another way of like confirming, because once you build that trust, you believe in yourself more, and that connection is that much stronger.
Yeah.
Also, doing some kind of grounding and centering exercises can help in addition to shielding work. Yes. Yeah, something else we had talked about beforehand is like doing some sort of enchantment on jewelry, on you know, your crystals, keeping your crystals around you, doing crystal gritting for a certain thing. I have this candle that I still haven't used because I want to use it for something along the lines of like psychic development for myself. So I got this candle from Brittany over at Palm Tree Bewitchery, and also with it being like the purple for the third eye, doing a ritual for myself, make rituals out of it, whatever. But also remember to do the actions as well to help yourself. Don't just do, you know, witchcraft and then expect it to just all, you know, unveil itself to you. Help it along.
Can I let them know a little secret I try sometimes too?
Yeah.
Like if I am intending to see something or have something revealed to me also. I mean, you can try it and see if it works for you. I feel like with my intention and the way I do it, it works for me. On my actual eyelids, you know, I wear black eyeshadow a lot, but I'll kind of remove the middle where it looks like when my eyes are closed, I have eyes, and then I'll draw an eye here just because it helps me be able to get that picture and visualize it that much more like intensely. And then I'll put the intention in that, okay, now I have extra eyes, let me see. And it's kind of a neat little exercise too that I wanted to share. Maybe it'll help someone else too.
Absolutely. I don't see why, you know, that kind of stuff wouldn't work. You're just adding like another level to it, you know, and another level of belief on top of it. So I love that. Let's see. First time catching a live, subbed when you first started your channel. Thank you so much. The wise one too. I love that.
I like that.
Working so hard to remove blocks. You keep on doing it, sweetie. You're doing good. That's all it is for any of us. We're just all works in progress. Palms lift up. I also read during downloads. Yes. Oh, that's another thing I was going to tell you. Because I've been talking about this, and I don't know why it took me this long to get a book like this, but I have been getting synchronicities for probably close to 20 years. Okay. And what I mean by that is 1111, 111. I must get a ton of them in a day. I mean, since Cortney and I were talking, I got several of them that I'll just look, or I go into the kitchen and get them or whatever. And there's different levels to that. So pay attention to when you're getting them, what material you're reading, what conversation you're having, whatever, and then see what it says. And this book is friggin' excellent. I highly recommend it. It's called Angel Numbers, and it's by Kyle Gray. But it's just yet, in my opinion, another level of being able to trust yourself. That is the biggest thing, I think, belief. You know, I talk about this, but my sister and I, we made a wish on a star when we were little. It was a falling star. And I must have been about 6 years old, because this was the place that we lived when I started kindergarten, and I started when I was 6. And she said, oh my gosh, look at it. It must have been maybe a meteor shower or something. I don't know, but we thought it was a falling star. So Carla called me over to the window, and we made a wish that we were going to go to Cedar Point later that day. We made a wish that we were going to go to Cedar Point soon. My mom, I'm telling you, within like 20 to 30 minutes, came into the bedroom and said, girls, guess what? This next weekend, we're going to Cedar Point, and we wanted you guys to know. We were like, oh, I mean, because literally we had so much faith in what we were, we had so much belief in it that it came true. Now imagine what one person can do. Imagine what two people can do. Imagine what a whole bunch of people can do with their mindset in the same thing and with a strong belief in what they're doing. We can change everything, right? We create our reality. That was amazing.
Belief is like half the battle when you're first getting in, because once you believe, that's when it's real to you. It's
Yes.
real. And faith does go a long way.
Right on. Yes, it does. Make dolls with kiddos. Put little extra inside with intention. Absolutely. Intention makes the spell work. Yes, it does. My B-day and location in my name alone, full sync freaky things still can't. I find that if I don't have essential oils, I will use some kind of blessed water to help, rubbing it on my third eye. Yes, that is really good.
Bay leaves. I would make oils out of bay leaves and put them over my third eye, and that worked awesome for me.
Yeah, Kyle Gray has also done a couple of decks and other books. So I definitely recommend this. Earlier, I can't remember what I was doing. I think I was researching more angels. And I went into the kitchen, and the first thing when I walked into the kitchen, I seen on the microwave oven 1, 2, 3, 4. And I get that quite often. Because it's not just the numbers that you see do not have to be just like 111 and 1111. There can be other numbers that keep on coming up and showing up for you in your life. 1, 2, 3, 4 means you are moving up the spiritual ladder. Your angels are acknowledging your intentions and your steps towards growth. Know that you are being encouraged and supported. How is that not? That is such a wonderful confirmation, right? And then paying attention to it when you get it. It's just awesome. I make my own oils from time to time. It's not perfect, but it works. That's right. It doesn't have to be perfect. Real witchcraft is messy and, it's not this beautiful thing. Maybe the pictures that we show on social media are pretty.
I agree.
All this is not.
I agree. Have you seen me after a ritual?
Yeah. Let's see. Spell I used whole life. May they all be safe, healthy, and happy. Yes. I love that. Let's see. What are some exercises that you recommend every psychic should be doing to develop their abilities? For me, journaling, dream journaling, and this kind of stuff. Whatever you're doing, recognizing, having trust. And I think that just honestly comes from just paying attention, be in the now, pay attention to your surroundings, pay attention to all of a sudden, if you're thinking about somebody and you see a cardinal, like in your backyard, or you just got done trying to talk with, let's say, Odin, and all of a sudden you've got a raven or a crow that's squawking outside of your window. That is a freaking confirmation. Signs everywhere, signs, right?
Oh, yeah.
So that's what I think. The best exercise, writing it down, journaling your experiences. I think that's the best. What do you think, sweetie?
Yeah, and definitely, I mean, if you're talking about there are a lot of abilities. So if they're talking about like others too, but I know we're going to get deeper into those later in this series. But if it's something new to you too, and you're trying to work on it or practice it, make sure, like she said, you're in the now and aware, and kind of try to pinpoint what brought that on. What were you doing when you experienced this? What sensations did you feel? What came to mind? What did you see? What did you hear? you know, that would probably be my favorite advice. And for like the broader spectrum for like all the abilities, because of
Right.
course, with each one, some of them are more complex than others. But for the overall, for now, that's what I would add.
Don't second guess when you see something in your head.
Right.
When you see something in your head, write it down. You don't necessarily, for me, unless I write it down, I forget it. So like when I'm doing a reading for somebody else, if they're not writing it down and I'm not writing it down, if you go to talk to me about it the next day, I won't remember the reading because I almost feel like it's not for me. So I don't remember it. But even when they are for me, I don't remember it always. And then when you romanticize about something for a long time, then the memories can change a little bit. That's why I say write it down. Write everything friggin' down. But do Zener cards. Do any kind of exercises with a friend where you can test your psychic ability. Like, what's in this hand? What's in this hand? What am I thinking? And then maybe shoot a word to them or whatever. I mean, there's so many different things that people can do. Also, I like to read with crystals, but if I can't, I will use rocks or stones from the backyard or wherever I can find them. Yes. And do something that has to do with divination, I would say. If you really, really want to, work on clairvoyance, then do something that would stimulate your mind, or stimulate your third eye, like reading tarot cards or something like that, and keep on doing it, keep doing it, and keep doing it.
And touching as well. When you were talking about that, like a little story resonated with me that just happened not long ago. When I touch things and I'm in someone's house or doing a reading, you can pick up on so much. Like you're not just touching the object, you're feeling what's coming from that and into you. You're paying attention to what's entering your mind as you're feeling that energy flowing into you. And I was walking down the street with Chris when we first moved here. And I'm on a sidewalk in the middle of the city and I just stop and go, oh my gosh, someone passed away here. They were shot. Like, I feel this. And it was when I had touched the fence as we were walking by. And he goes, come here. I walk a little further, walk around the fence, and there was a plaque of a man who was shot there and passed away. And so touching the senses, yes, definitely.
Yeah. Dice Controller said J.S. Garrett wants to get large groups of people together and focus their intentions. Absolutely.
Nice. Yeah, they're doing a lot of big things over there.
There was something, if you remember the story that was in The Secret, when The Secret first came out, oh my gosh, what year was that? Like early 2000s. And I mean, I was all about The Secret. Right when it first came out, I was like forcing my family to sit down and watch it. They're like, I don't want to watch it. I'm like, sit down and watch this. This is important, right? I was telling my family about it, my sister, my mom. I'm like, you got to watch this shit, right? So there was a story in there where they talk about a group of people that kept on focusing on like creating a person, and they actually created a 3D person. I think they called it a tulpa or something like that. And I think it was like created a monk. I know I'm getting this story wrong. It's been a long time, but check it out. There was something where a group of people had kept on focusing on and had the intention of creating something and actually created a 3D person just by their thoughts.
Oh, I believe it. I believe it.
Let's see.
I mean, I know it's on a show, but I'm saying I don't deny that things are possible, right, especially collectively.
April says, I just learned about a clearing oil using dried cilantro and cinnamon. Excellent. Oldest son is named Bailey. My daughter's name is Bailey.
Wow.
Online information about angel numbers are different everywhere, but one of the people sometimes ago said angel numbers can mean something bad as well. What do you think about it? I personally think it is whatever you believe. I think if you have a source, it's just like tarot reading. This is why, for me, every tarot reader is going to be different, even if they're using the same fundamental meanings, because if you establish what a certain card means to you, what your interpretation of that card is, and then you tell spirit, okay, so I'm a tarot reader. If I get this card, this is what it means in my reading. So if spirit knows that this is the book that I'm using, then that's the meaning that it was meant for me. That's how I see that. What do you think, sweetie?
I believe that with every positive, there is a negative. With every negative, there is a positive. Well, of course, we have that duality in each side. One cannot work without the other, and we can find both if we look at both. And I would think it depends probably on what's going on in the person's mind and what's going on in their heart and what's going on around them in their reality. So I really think it would depend on all those things individually. And like you said, interpretation and belief.
Exactly. I think you can, it comes down to the person, because ultimately you can either see the glass half full or half empty. So if, like I just read that 1, 2, 3, that I'm moving up. Okay. Spiritually, I am moving up higher. That could also mean I'm not quite where I want to be right yet. It's all in how you look at it. Right. So exactly. That's how I see that.
Most definitely.
1, 2, 3, go start code. Yes. I did get that earlier too. I got a whole bunch of numbers today.
Chris always gets 1916. Always. Daily.
And that's not in here, but you could probably take the 1, 9.
You know, it's the year that the troubles started here too, way back in the day, in one of our past lives a while back. I wonder if it doesn't have something to do with that.
Yes. Been using crystals. That's wonderful. See, I love crystals personally, especially if you have animals or little ones running around your house, right? The little crystals, you know, like something that's tiny little crystal, which I don't have any here. But if it's tiny and you got little ones, yeah, I would say be careful. But if it's a big, you know, your kid can't swallow this. Okay, just saying. Your animal cannot catch on fire from this or knock it down, and they might break it if it gets knocked down onto a hard floor, but your cat's not gonna go screaming off of your altar like my cat has, because it got up there when there was, you know, candles going. And you can hold that intention for much longer than, you know, if you want to do a grid, you can do a grid for 30 days if you want. You could do it longer than that if you wanted, especially if you have like selenite in it that keeps on changing out the energy. Let's say, for instance, you have it in front of the sun, so it's continuing to charge the energy from the sun. And then you have like black tourmaline or jet or something around the edge that also protects the grid. It could be continuing to go forever. Constantly cleaning itself, constantly charging, always.
Sorry, Dice Controller. I was trying to tease you there with my comment, but it came up under her name. So sorry, Rachele.
No problem. Yeah, I'm really good, aren't I? I'm sitting here talking,
right?
And you guys can't even see it. It's like mental,
She's
right?
Omnipresent. Already godlike powers.
I typed and it was like yours. I'm like, oh crap. Fingers are still covered in ink. You gotta love that. You can make spirit balls. Yeah. The middle pillar ritual helps with scrying. Bugging my people, psychic like. Spirit radio is always on point. Random DJ sends. That's really cool. Owls are everywhere. I think it's Santa Morta. They even dived down at me. Oh, wow. Another tip for us ladies, notice the differences in your abilities when it's that special time of the month. Oh. I never thought about that. A lot of syncs are confirmation and others are angel messages. Yeah. Self-awareness is so important in addition to awareness of one's surroundings. Absolutely. Read the clouds. Yep. What about opening doorways to dangerous entities by using divination techniques? This was mentioned by Eric Regaz, whatever. So what do you think, honey?
About that with the spirit? I mean, I think if you're messing with any spirit, obviously you're going to set up protection ahead of time. However, I don't know if I agree that it just like invites them in, but it's possible. I'm not going to say it's not. There are negative entities, but in my experience, I feel like it's a bit less common coming into a lot of contact with them through divination than, unless it's what you're seeking or looking for. Intent has a lot to do with it as well. So when you're doing any type of spirit communication, you want to make that intent clear and strong who you are seeking. And it's always good to know by the name and have some sort of protective measure before you go into it.
I think a major way of protecting yourself always is by raising your own vibration.
Oh, yeah. Because then
I think you are in contact more with higher, divinities. Mm-hmm. So, yes, I think raising it automatically. Because when you think of anything that really wants to harm you, in my opinion, it is a lower vibrational being, right? Mm-hmm. And you and I were even talking about this earlier. If somebody, and this is why I love the series that you're doing over on your channel, which is the Angels and Demons, because the book that I'm reading right now, this one right here, which I showed everyone, the 72 Angels of Magic, he talks about how be very specific about what you want the angel to do when you're contacting them, because let's say, for instance, it is an angel that is dealing with destruction or destruction to your enemy or something along that lines. And let's say that it really depends on the person that's trying to get these things to work, because you could say, okay, I want my angel to destroy my enemy's ability to affect me, right? Mm-hmm. Or you could say, I want to instruct my angel to destroy my enemy. Yes. Two totally different things. But that angel, he says, it doesn't matter. That angel will still do it. And it has nothing to do with karmic. It just, that angel is there to help you. So how is that any higher or lesser than what a demon would do? Exactly the same thing, right?
Right.
So it's a matter of perception, because I think that demons and angels are all higher vibrational beings.
Oh, definitely. Most definitely. Oh, yeah. I agree that you can be working with these entities and on the darker side of the essence, but still be a light worker, illuminating from the light, Yes. Definitely.
Yes. Serena says, I have a hard time with shielding. I'm good with visualization, but shielding feels like a struggle. It also doesn't seem to last long. Any tips?
Well,
crystals. If you use crystals around you, that's what I love about crystal gridding, because crystal gridding will hold the intention when you can't. If you have an issue being able to hold that intention, once you put it into crystals, and you got to believe that it works, because they use crystals in like computers for like memory and stuff like that. So just like in water, right? It actually holds the memory of the intentions that you're putting into it. So if you put that grid around you, not just an energy grid that you're creating with your mind or with a wand or whatever, if you literally put a crystal grid around you with the intentions of protecting yourself, whatever you're doing, have faith that it's going to work, because it is.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I think.
If you're good at the astral world too, I mean, I don't know what people work with, but I always also suggest putting up protective measures astrally as well. And you can do that awake through visualization techniques as well. And when you create that and manifest that in like your astral realm and kind of merge that in with your reality, it just sits there and it's constantly going to protect you.
I'm sorry. Sorry, my husband. Another thing, just like these sigils or seals that you'll see in here for angel contact, sigil work. Sigil work is something that you can do. You can make a sigil for actual protection and then envision that going right inside of your body. Do a whole ritual where that sigil is going into your body always, where you're protected. So no matter what, it holds it, because once you put it there, it is there, right? Even he said in this book, or they, because there was a group of people, when you put in like these sigils and you imagine them going into, or seals, and imagine them going into your body, you've essentially activated that connection with that angel. And it doesn't just last for, let's say, an hour or two. It could be 6 months later. It could be a year. It could be 2 years later, and it's still activated. It's still there unless you deactivate it. So that's another thing.
Yeah, you can even put them on your body, and you can do warding sigils as well. I don't know what kind of spirits or a deity, or even a familiar or your servitor. If you have sigils for them too, you can always put them around as wardings, because if a lesser entity comes in for a spectral attack, it's going to see the ward and be like, well, maybe I don't want to mess with this spirit, you know, kind of looking out or protecting.
So that's what you were saying good too. Dice Controller said, Erie, your new promo scared the crap out of me. And you said, LOL, good.
That's what I was going for.
It was so awesome.
Dice Controller is also asking a couple times, how do you raise your vibration? I know you already said that, but they're saying that they always hear people saying that, but never saying how to do it.
I did actually create a whole video on this. Later on, if I remember, I will put a link down to it. But because I knew that this was one of the topics of how to do, like getting in touch with your higher chakras, I went to an actual site, Deepak Chopra's site, and he was talking about the different ways in order to raise your vibration. So here's the list. Being in a state of gratitude, love, generosity. And when I say generosity, I don't want you to think that means that you have to just give a whole bunch of stuff to people. No. Being generous can also mean giving of yourself, being helpful to other people. If you see somebody that needs a little help with this in a grocery store and they can't reach it, then reach up and help them. That's generosity, giving of yourself. And if you can give to others, then give to others. But there are ways of giving. If you are a tarot reader, give some free tarot readings on your channel or whatever. There's ways of giving. Meditation and breath work. Being in a state of forgiveness, meaning you don't want any energies from other people to, cause blockages in your body. So you use forgiveness in order to like sever those kind of ties to end that kind of bad energy. Eat high vibe food, which we were talking about earlier. If you can grow your own stuff, that is ideal. But not eating like a lot of stuff that is dead, like meat, animals, right? Eating more things like fresh blueberries and fresh cherries and grapes and anything that you can get your hands on. And the stuff that's more local, if you can't grow it yourself, is ideal because that's less time that it has had to go from the farm to your table. So the fresher, the better. Drinking lots of water. Not drinking a lot of things or putting a lot of things in your body that would be toxic, that lower your vibration. Positive thinking, be more in a, joyous state. And I think a lot of that is choice. Choosing to look at the silver lining instead of being a pessimist and only seeing, blah, 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 blah. Being happy for other people. Just positive thinking in general. High vibe music,
Big
TV
one.
that you watch, books that you read, movies that you watch. So if you're feeling really down, or if you're really scared, are you going to watch a horror flick, or are you going to watch a comedy? Because I'm the kind of person, don't get me wrong, I like watching my horror flicks too. And sometimes the gore and stuff like that, but I'll have to watch it first thing in the morning and then watch a few comedies after that to try to raise my vibration back up again. Laughter is a huge way of raising your vibration.
Music affects me the most. Like for a long time, I would listen to like sadder music and vibe with it. You know, I loved it. But I also noticed it kind of kept me in those emotions.
Right.
So now, like I posted on Facebook not long ago, that song, it's so cringe, that wake me up before you go. But it's like just one of them you gotta like move to. So now in the morning, just to raise my vibration a bit, I'll play that or push it real good, you know, just stuff that is like jumpy and like woo.
I go around singing that one all the time. That's funny. Surround yourself in beauty. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder, but make your surrounding the way that you want it, especially your home, because, or your sacred spaces, because let's say you've been out in the world, you're just getting a bunch of other people's negative energy that's attaching to you. You've been to the grocery store, people are like not want to be by you, they're fearful. Don't be in a state of fear. So having beautiful things around you, it lifts your spirit instantly because you feel safe and secure in your surroundings. Go outside, get into nature, ground yourself with your feet on the ground and the sunshine. These are all ways of raising your vibration. Sorry. Let me mute myself. You continue.
I think you covered a lot of it. Yeah. And I just want to say I am somebody for a long time who's had like depression issues since a young age, but she is right. Finding that silver lining, always trying to focus on how we can make it better, or what can we do a tad different to make our life easier or feel better. Anything that keeps you feeling better, keeps that good vibe flowing in. Aw.
I love that, Leanne. Ooh, baby, baby.
Baby, baby. Ooh, baby, baby.
You guys know you do it.
Oh.
You know you do it. Howl that scared me. I don't think I've seen Howl.
I saw 1 through like 4. Talking about the old wolf movie?
I have been watching and I love it, but I'm having nightmares if I fall asleep to it, which is supernatural.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, they're abandoning me.
I'll watch stuff like Hellraiser and be like, when they show up, I'm like, my dudes, you're all awesome.
Yeah, no thank you. No thank you. See, the stuff that really scares me though, that I can't watch. I mean, I can, but I really got to watch comedies after that to kind of get me out of that energy, because I hold on to stuff for days, weeks sometimes, which is another sign of being empathic, right? But is like The Exorcist or The Exorcism of Emily Rose.
Oh,
when they're like talking in like, you know, Latin, and they're like doing stuff like jumping on their knees and coming back down without
I loved that one.
Oh my God.
I'm always screaming at the TV like, call a witch, invoke it out of them. What you calling a priest for? The ones that I can't watch because they lower my vibration, which my grandma raised me on horror flicks since I was like 3. So I think, you know, I love them.
Well, here's the thing though, if you're sitting there laughing while you're watching it, then it's still raising your vibration, right?
Right. So it's like, yeah, I'll laugh with those, but it like my mom watches a lot of Lifetime, and I know a lot of people like Lifetime.
I do.
But it's like they impact me so hard that's what I'll hold on to, is like stories like that. So them are the type of things I can't watch, or it'll like affect me in my vibration. Which
I think
is
most of the time, though, Lifetime is pretty uplifting stuff. I guess it depends on, which ones they are. Not like the stalker man that the woman was trying to get away from and stuff like that. On
it's stuff
Lifetime, right?
like
That you're
that.
talking about?
Yes. Or like assault,
Right.
things like that. So I'm like, no, I can't do it. I'll bawl my eyes out. And I can't watch Old Yeller.
Oh my gosh.
I can watch Cujo, but I can't watch Old Yeller. Weird, right?
No, but yeah, because it's like heart stuff. It just pulls at the heartstrings, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember me telling you I watched this movie? It was a Lifetime movie that they put on Netflix, and it was like the Christmas.
Oh yeah.
And I'm just sitting there crying like a stinking baby as I'm watching this. But it's also based on real stuff that's happening, where they're delivering like toys and goods and stuff like that to all the different Hawaiian islands and stuff like that. And I just loved it. But I mean, I think that lifted me up for 3 or 4 days during this holiday, because this holiday has been a really hard holiday this year, not feeling it. But when I watch movies like that, it just like definitely lifts my spirits. Let's see.
Serena, I agree. I watched one not long ago, and I called Rachele so upset for like days because I just couldn't deal with it. It's a recent movie on Netflix we shall not name.
Right. It's always a man treating a woman bad, and then she kills him every Lifetime movie.
My grandma loves that part though. It's like when the wife gets, she loved the burning bed. My grandmother,
I loved
her.
that movie. I did.
Now I'm all for revenge though.
Exactly. Eye for an eye. I'm not for the death penalty. I'm definitely for eye for an eye, though. That's different. What is Lifetime? Like Hallmark Channel? Kind of. It's Lifetime Channel. But yeah, it's very similar to that.
Television for women.
Can't watch. Exactly. Let's see. I've really, really enjoyed this stream. First time here. Welcome, Witch Moon. Thank you, Angelfish. Resonate with almost all of this. You ladies are super groovy. Cool. Thank you. Right on. Just type in Lifetime movie into YouTube search. There's so many on here you watch. Yeah. I feel like I need a bath after all the Lifetime talk, right? It's that woman's channel that lets them vent by watching men get killed by angry women. Yes.
When I want to vent, I throw shit.
Like the movie Enough.
Oh, I love that.
I love that movie. Yes.
I do.
And Sleeping with the Enemy.
That movie Enough. I'd like to talk to you later about that. Actually saved my life, that movie, when I was in a similar situation. I remember watching it, and I took her idea how she got out of the house. I used the same thing, and it got us away.
Wow.
That's why I love that movie. That's why I will always love that movie.
Just crawling out of mine, listening, soaking. I've enjoyed this. Oh, that's awesome. Well, does anybody have any questions before we end this? And thank you so much, Cortney. You know what? You make everything better. I just love you so much.
Oh, same. We complete each other, guys, right?
Right on.
So make sure you come check us out Saturdays on my channel, Mondays on hers. We'll all vibe together, learn some stuff, have fun. Exactly.
So which one do you guys want to do next week? Because we're going to start a new Clair. We've got, let's talk about either Clair empathy, Clair tangency, Clair, no, we just did that. Clair gustance, Clair cognizant. That is my strongest, is Clair cognizant. Clairaudience. You want to do clairaudience? That's the hearing. What lifts my spirit is the Goes Wrong show. My neighbors can attest to that. I was screaming with laughter. I've never heard of that, the Goes Wrong show. I've never heard of that.
Pazuzu, the dark god or demon that was villainized in the movie The Exorcist, isn't evil. He has been calling to me lately. I've been scared to open up the line of communication with him. Pazuzu, I've actually had the privilege of communicating with before. I never did a ritual or invoked them. But I mean, if you've worked with these type of entities before, I do not think it's too much difference. You should be okay. I know there's a lot of like horror stories out there. You know, of course, we should always heed. They're all different and individual. Just make sure you do enough research on the entity and talk to other practitioners who have worked with that entity, and just gain as much information and knowledge on that spirit as you can. And then what I do before even evoking or invoking one, and this goes for any demonic entity that I'm thinking about working with, I will first get used to a link establishment between me and the spirit, and then getting used to the feel for their energy and their essence around me, and making that link stronger and communicating with them. And I will carry that on for a while as I'm doing my research. That way the spirit can also point me in directions as I'm researching and communicate with me. And it's kind of my own adaptation to how I will come into, what's the word for just meeting? Trying to sound all proper here. When you first meet, greet them, if that makes sense.
Making that introduction kind of thing.
Yeah, that's the word I was looking for. Thank you. See, we complete each other.
See, we even said the same thing. Maria and I do that too. We'll be thinking the same things and completing each other's sentences.
Claire Farron?
Yeah. I don't know of a Claire Farron. So why don't we do clairaudience next week?
Okay.
Sound good? That is clear hearing. Sound good, guys? If anybody would also like to join, not next week, but the week after that, welcome back, by the way, that has the ability to hear other things and would like to be on the panel with us when we are discussing ways of developing it, let me know. Check out the Amethyst Ascension group and, contact me through there. So what do we watch for your live again, Erin? What?
Oh, the live next Saturday is about Rachele and I take angels and demons. And our belief or theory on these guys is, I believe that they are kind of archetypes of the same entity. Just one is like the face positive side, the other's the shadow side of the entity. And we take these spirits, and she researches the angel, or we're going to start this week. She's going to bring you guys the information of the angels, and I bring the information of their counterpart demon. And we see how much they correspond with each other. And also I noticed, we tend to get the opposite more information as well. You get more on the angels and I just get more on the demons. But yeah, and thank you.
All right. Well, unless anybody has any more questions, next week we will talk about clairaudience, which is the clear hearing. And we will be setting it up ahead of time. We will also be setting up the angel and demons. I've already got a thing in there showing that we're doing the star card next week. So, actually this week for Saturday, we'll be discussing the angel and demon associated with the star card.
Yeah.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Thank you, Cortney. I love you, sweetie.
I love you too, and love all you.
Catch you next time.